Good evening. This is the Elliott wave update for the NASDAQ 100 for Sunday, February the 6th, 2022. The Globex sessions is now actually moving the markets in both directions. We did end up opening, sailing up. Let me get this opened up a little bit so we can see it. Sailed up real quickly right there. That was Friday, and then we have today. We sailed up. In fact, you know what? Let me just take this down to the 15-minute chart, then we can actually see it. And without having a lot of pressure, this was the opening. The market sailed up to 14,707, came all the way back down to 14,634, and rallied back up and got up to 14,717. And now you can see in this last 15 minutes has now gone down and is starting to make new lows. What do we want to make from all of this? What does this all represent to us? And what can we start to say? Let me go back out to that hourly chart. We still can consider this right now as the completion point. I've moved it, but we can say this is the completion point for that intermediate fourth wave. Now, to keep this all in place, I'm now going to describe what's happening, what the limitations are, and what would happen should we come back down and actually break below 13,831. Okay, so if we're going to hold that and keep our intermediate fourth wave, which keeps alive a much larger intermediate fifth wave advance alive and moving to new highs above 16,768. That's the current high. And for this 5 waves up to get above that, the following needs to take place. If we're going to consider this to be minor wave 1, within this intermediate fifth wave, there are going to be 5 waves of minor degree. Here's minor wave 1. This now I thought could have been minor wave 2. We got those superior move off of the Amazon earnings, and we even went up there. And we challenged that high again on Friday. And then they just decided, this was on Friday during Globex. They brought it down, and then they really brought it down. And then we rallied it on the opening, brought it all the way back down. There you go. They rallied it on the opening. They brought it all the way back down. And I thought, oh, wow, this is not what's supposed to happen. But then Amazon kicked back in and the market kicked back in as Friday expiration, and they took it up to here. But in that last half hour, they sold it down and they brought it all the way back down, sinking it all the way through. And that threw some caution out to me. So if I go back out, I'm going to go to 30 minutes so I can take a look again. If we're calling this minor wave 1, wave A of minor 2, wave B of minor 2, wave 1 of C, wave 2 of C, and now we're dropping and what could be a wave 3 of C. Well, what would the expectations be if this is a wave C? One is that it continues to accelerate lower and not bounce around, which is what it's still doing. But I would suspect that we're going to continue. If we continue lower, we're going to break below 15,021. We're going to break below 14,026, because now we need to get below this level. If this is wave 1 of C, wave 2 of C, wave 3 of C needs to break that level. Doesn't have to break it. Could come down to here, 42,260. It could go to 14,330. That would put in a new low. Below that, that's all I need. And then we do a 4, and then we come down in the 5. My better nature tells me that it should come down further than right here. So I would be looking for 14,260, 14,195. Then we do a little bit of a rally, and then we put in the fourth wave, 4 of C, and then we put in an additional decline in wave 5 of C, then we got this beautiful A, B, C, and that would be called minor wave 2. What minor wave 2 cannot do is break below 13,831. It can get close. It can almost equal it, and it's not breaking any of the rules. The rule, and under Elliott, is that wave 2 cannot break below the starting point or above the starting point of wave 1. So otherwise, then it's not a wave 2. It's not correcting wave 1. So then it would be something else. So we can allow this decline to get as serious as it wants to, get it down to 13,381, or excuse me, 13,831, hold, turn around, and do another rally that would just knock our socks off, because the buyers step in and they just don't stop, and they just start running it, because the concept between that on that third wave is that it's going to go up and take out this high and keep on going. That would be the expectations if this count is going to hold. If we are just still in a wave 2 corrective phase, we're looking for an additional move below Friday's lows at 14,362, 363. Got to get below that to finish the C wave. Now, if it holds here, then this could be A, B, C. We put a wave 2. What would the expectations be? That we have a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 30-minute chart. Let me again break it down to the 15. Let's take a peek, because we got to look at the internals, and we want to make sure that we can be able to count. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Very clean, very nice. This could be wave 1. And then this would be a wave 2. Again, wave 2 has the potential. They can come all the way back down to here. So, but is that something I'm going to be looking for if we have now started? This is going to be minor wave 2. This is wave 1 of 3, wave 2 of 3. I would not want this to be drifting all the way back down to here. It's a third wave. Third waves are normally the longest and the strongest. The trend for this third wave is up. We're picking up in a minor third wave. It should go up. If this is the first wave, this is the second wave. We've now put in a new low below. So it could be A, B, C. We'll allow for a little bit more. Maybe it gets down to here. You know, maybe to 14,590-ish. But if it holds here and we start to rally again and we start to break above the current high at 14,717, get ourselves back above the 15-minute 200. And I'll run this out again. Let's take a look at the 30 so we can see where we need to get to. The 30-minute 200 is sitting at 14,726. We need to get there. Also, 30-minute, we need to get back above the 4, the 8, and the 50, which are relatively within, close proximity, 10 points of each other. And it needs to get back above the 20. So the market has a lot of proving to do. The 20 is still kind of flat, the 50's flat, 4 and the 8 are bouncing around. All right, now let's move it back to the hourly. See, this is how I put it together. So what can we expect? This is what I'm looking at. This is what I'm trying to determine. I'm going to open this up so we get to look at it. There we are. 50's flat as a pancake. 200's even flatter. And here we are sitting with the 8, the 20, and the 4, all touching. Look at them touching right there. See that? All sitting together at 14,665, 64, 65. And we're battling around 634, 35. So it needs to get itself back above there, which it has done, but that'll turn these back higher. And then it needs to break. If it is indeed, we're moving up in this third wave, what we would be doing if this is 1, 2, we'd be in that 3 of 3 move. It definitely should not be accelerating to the downside. That would put us back in that other picture where we're looking at the possibility that this is not the C, but 1 of C, 2 of C, 3 of C would allow for acceleration to the downside. A 3 up, a 3 of 5, right? 1 of 5, 2 of 5, 3 of 5 would produce the acceleration to the upside. So we're sitting at a point where if we get acceleration to the downside, it's a C wave down. 3 of C down. If we get acceleration to the upside, it's a 3 of 5, right? Same deal in terms of what we can expect from that wave. It's a third going down. It should be the longest, the strongest, and we should get the acceleration, this case, to the downside. It's a 3 going up, a 3 of 5. We should, it's the longest, it's the strongest. We should get acceleration to the upside. So here we are. So right now, we're seeing a little bit more pressure to the downside coming in. And that could just be follow-up selling, right? Don't forget that on Friday, here was going up until that 4 o'clock hour, until the 3 o'clock hour. So at really, I think it was about 3:30 where they really started to hit the market. Then they rallied it back to close it out about the way. But about halfway down, they really started to come through basically when they broke the 50, and then they broke the 200. Then we saw them to accelerate, but they started up at 14,819, and they finished 14,673. That's quite a bit. That was over 100 points, and they just dropped it in 30 minutes, and then all the way down to 627 before they rallied it back. Okay, so that struck a chord in me where I was like, something's up. When I'm looking at it going, okay, we rallied because of Amazon, but then we also rallied because it dragged many of the other stocks up, and we had a weekly expiration last Friday. So there were levels that this is what they were looking for, and this is what they pushed to get. But it really started caving before that close. And that just really made me feel that there were more downside pressure. And as we got closer in that last half hour, that pressure, I believe, was coming from the outside in terms of hedge funds and portfolio managers and just the larger firms that were like, no, we're positioning to get out. And there were more redemptions in funds than there were new money coming in. Now, how people came out of that expiration, so how firms came out, I think will play into what we're seeing now. They were too long or they're too short. We see that play out in the future. So we're set, but it's too difficult to say right now. Again, upside, we got to break above here. Downside, we got to start breaking below. We're already below, trading below on the hourly chart, the moving averages. We're below the 50, we're below the 200, we're below the 20, the 4, and the 8. The 4 is now starting to cross over as it would be expected to. Okay, so again, I've been looking for acceleration to the downside, then it's 3 of C. And we're looking for it to drop below 14,362. If we begin to accelerate to the upside, we get ourselves back above all these moving averages. And again, the 200 and the 50, and we get them start to line up for going up, then we should see the acceleration. We should take out 14,820. And then again, we take out 14,829, and we start heading back towards 15,000 again. But that acceleration should carry us quite a bit before all is said and done. So that's our scenario for tomorrow. We're going to play it according to what the price action is telling us. We're going to play it according to where the moving averages are, where their position is, and how they're lining up. Downside, we'd be expecting the 50 to drop below the 200, and for the 8 and the 4 to stay below the 20. Come back here. And then we're lined up. Will the 200 be on top? The 50's next, the 20, and the 8 and the 4. That lines it up to go down. Conversely, we'd be looking for all of these three to move back above these two, so that it's the 200, the 50, the 20, the 8, the 4. Then we're lined up to go up, and I'd expect acceleration to follow us. So the market decides, that's the scenario. One other thing that I will present again tomorrow, once the market has determined what it wants to do here, I'm going to come out and talk about what happens if that is the highs, right? Again, here we are at that 16,768, right there. And that would be the end of intermediate 5, primary 5, cycle 5, and super cycle 3. This is A, B. This turns into a C wave. The C would come over here. The 3 and the 5 get moved. This is wave C, and it would be intermediate wave A. And this would be A, B, C, intermediate wave B. And we'd be in the throes of a larger C wave down. And they would come in the waves of minor wave 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Those expectations definitively tell us we're going to sink below 13,706, and we're going to be heading much lower. I will be able to help on that, or be able to have a clearer view after tomorrow's trade, because we are sitting right in between an area that could go this way or that way. I need to let the market fill in those blanks and make it clearer as to what direction is going to be and how big we should be expecting it. All right, this is where I'm going to end it for today. The next update will be on Monday, the 7th of February.